Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Hello, American patriots, and welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. Tonight's show is going to expose just why and how much we must win the 2020 election, win back the House, and keep the Senate. Folks, conservatives and Republicans are under attack by many far-left, liberal, sick, mentally health issue type people that do not want to hear our voice. I debated on whether or not I was going to call these people out and whether or not I would even spend any time with them because, well, they're not worth it. They have very little following on social media. But I decided to go ahead and share this with you in a little more detail because it's kind of scary what they're doing, what they're capable of doing so far, what they personally have done to me. And it should scare all Americans to wake up and realize what we are fighting against with this election and how important it is that Donald Trump wins and socialist liberals don't take over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm going to share with you in a moment what happened to me recently. And then we're going to share some of the people responsible for some of this and other things. And then we'll take a short break. And when I come back, my guest will be American Joe. My brother is also experiencing some of the same type of hate and bigotry that I am. And some of these people are going after both of us at the same time. And we're just little small fish in the big pond. So you can imagine what they're doing to those that have 500,000+ subscribers, or the Sean Hannitys of the world that are being affected on a whole lot different scale. So first, let me tell you this. Every day, starting back, well, I guess once my YouTube channel went over about 50,000 subscribers is when I realized that my message was working because it was reaching out and affecting these Tide Pod eating little freaks that sit in mommy and daddy's basement, little keyboard warriors, because they were going on the attack. They were sending out text messages. They were sending out, calling my veterans hotline for vets that need help, leaving horrible messages, everything from asking me to kill myself to what they're going to do to my family, what they're going to do to my wife, to my children, calling out my special needs child by name. Just very horrible, disgusting things. And it continued to get worse. Then they started getting a little more personal. For instance, when we had a knock on our door one night or around midnight, and we look on our security cameras and see a nice looking couple standing there. What the world's this about? Go open the door and they said, "We're here to see the house." What are you talking about? Well, your house is for sale on the internet, and it says to come in to tour it between 11:30 p.m. and 2 a.m. because of the shift that you work. And sure enough, there was a picture of the outside of our house for sale. And well, we're not selling this house. I had just sold another house on the other side of the state, but no, they took this house and put it up for sale and did things like that. Same thing with our RV, with a boat that I had. Just ways of being mean and nasty and stirring a pot. Now, a lot of what they say and have done is covered under freedom of speech. A lot of what they say it's covered under the First Amendment. Now, that being said, one of them has stepped over the line. And I know for a fact that he's watching this program right now. Another one has already stepped over the line for quite some time now, except he made a mistake and he slipped up and he forgot to mask himself in the messages he left for me. And now we know who he is and where he is, and we're taking action towards, well, all of these clowns. So let's talk about, first it was all the messages, all the text messaging, all the comments on YouTube, emails, horrible, despicable things about how they're going to, tie me up, rape my kids, my family, my dogs, okay, before they slit my throat and do damage to me, okay? That type of hate-filled, just insanity talk, because they don't want to hear my conservative voice. Each time I document it, I go to my local law enforcement, and we've started a paper trail. As a veteran law enforcement officer, there's a reason behind that. And for those of you that are law enforcement or veteran law enforcement, well, you realize why. So then came the phone call last week that took me off my feet, let's say. I get a phone call that local Louisiana State Police detectives, 6 of them, had just converged on the house that I had recently sold on the other side of the state. Next door to that home is family of mine, which they didn't know, but they went over there to ask if they knew where I could be found. And they told them where I had moved to and gave them my current phone number. And then they contacted me and said, you just had 6 detectives in 4 different cars come in here looking for you. Now, number 1, I'm a law-abiding citizen. Number 2, I have absolutely nothing to hide. Number 3, I've committed no crime, and I know what I do 24/7. So immediately I went to the local Louisiana State Police Troop D here in the area I live in. And I explained to them what I was told. They took down my name and number and said, detectives will be in touch. I went back home. The more I thought about that, the more I thought, you know what? I better get an attorney, because I have no doubt that one of these freaks that send out these horrible messages several times a day has said something or done something to try and destroy me, which they claim in all these messages that they will do. So I also remembered how just last year, and some of you may have seen the video I did on this, where a friend of mine that I've known for many, many years, he's been heavily involved with collecting military type surplus equipment, Jeeps and half tracks, military type weapons, fake or demilled. They're actual real weapons, real bombs, okay, but they're demilled. They're to be sold in Army surplus. And what he does with this stuff is he takes them to different events that happen around the state for Memorial Day and Veterans Day and 4th of July, okay? And he puts them all out on display for the public to see and for students to learn about these type things. A lot of it's World War II related and Vietnam related. It's nothing fairly new related at all. Everybody in Louisiana, especially in this area, which is Denham Springs, Louisiana, where his business was and his warehouse where he stored all this stuff, knew about him and knew what he did for the veterans community and knew how involved he was for the veterans community. The local police, as in the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Department, they knew him. They knew the things he had in that warehouse. So did the Denham Springs Police Department. So did many Louisiana state troopers who actually do work with him and his organization. But an anonymous phone call went in, or anonymous tip to the FBI, the local office in New Orleans, Louisiana, that this guy was a terrorist and had bombs in this warehouse at this location. Now, for the FBI to get this and not know anything about this guy, I understand how concerned they would probably be to want to follow up on this tip. But they did it as a joint operations. They brought in the Louisiana State Police. They brought in the Denham Springs City Police, the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, the ATF. Many of these people, these agencies that knew this guy and knew that what was in that building was not real explosives. But they didn't give a shit. No. The FBI got them all together and said, we're going to go in there and we're going to raid this shit. And we're also going to bring in the news media to cover it. And they did. And they went in there, guns drawn, and did the whole damn raid. They brought out all of these old demilled World War II type missiles and bombs and things like that and blew them up and destroyed them. While the front page of the paper in the local news was all about how this guy was a suspected terrorist. And now all the neighbors are thinking, holy shit, this guy's been living in our community and right among us for all these years, like 50 plus, and he's possibly linked to terrorism. Long story short, after 6 months, the investigation was closed. And at no point did the FBI ever say, we're sorry, we got it wrong. Nor did the Louisiana State Police or the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office or the Denham Springs Police or the ATF. No, they ruined this man and his reputation. So immediately when I hear that I've got 6 state troopers that are detectives looking for me, you bet your ass I'm going to lawyer up. And I did. Sure enough, as I'm talking to the lawyer, my phone rings, and it's local state trooper here in our area that says, or local detective, we have some things we'd like to talk to you about. Okay, what? Well, we're not going to discuss that over the phone. Can you come into our office tomorrow at 9 a.m.? And here's our address and where we're at. And I knew it. It was like within 5 minutes of my house. Yep, I'll be there. Next morning, me and my wife and my attorney showed up. They brought me and my attorney into a room. I was read my rights. Let me tell you something. If you ever find yourself being accused of anything, you have the right to remain silent and get an attorney. That is your right as an American citizen. But I had no doubt that I was being set up and railroaded for something. And I had no doubt that it had something to do with possibly that 2 weeks prior, we found out that our email at douglasducote.com had been hacked. But I wasn't 100% positive. So I'm read my rights. asked if I wanted to talk. No problem. I got nothing to hide. Let's get this over with. I was asked a series of questions. Have you recently sent any threatening emails to anyone? Light goes off in my head. Son of a bitch. Whoever hacked our email has done something. Of course, my answer was no, I haven't. Have you sent any threatening emails to any businesses in Louisiana recently? No, I haven't. Have you sent any emails threatening to members of Congress? No, I have not. Have you sent any emails to members of Congress recently or any Louisiana officials? Well, yes, I work with them all the time through my nonprofit, Veterans United for Justice. Threatening? No, hell no. Then let's just get straight to the point, Mr. Ducote. Have you recently sent a message to the Baton Rouge, Louisiana Metropolitan Airport Board of Directors? No. Well, we figured it wasn't you because of the IP address, but we had to question you anyhow. And here is what we have. And they laid it out in front of me. We're one of these freaks, and we're 99.9% sure we've dialed in who they are, and they're listening right now. Sent an email as if it was coming from me, except they didn't hide their IP where they were actually physically at, to the board of directors of the Baton Rouge Airport, claiming to be me, saying that I was going to fly airplanes into the airport filled with people that had the coronavirus, and also I had airplanes coming in with bombs on them, and I was going to blow up Baton Rouge and kill a bunch of people. That's how far these left-wing nut jobs are willing to take this shit. Now, the good thing about this is when the Louisiana detectives on the other side of the state from Troop A, the 6 of them that showed up at my house, do you think they were there to ask me any questions if 6 of them showed up? No. Chances are I was going to go to jail and then have to prove that I'm innocent. That's just my guess. Then they forwarded it over here to where I'm at on this side of the state, and that detective that gets it looks at it and goes, this is bullshit. Does a quick Google search on who I am, looks at my social media profiles, and says, I'll bring him in tomorrow if he's willing to come in. And of course I do. But let's say that this particular officer didn't have common sense and wanted to get on the news and make a big name for himself, like I do believe they were about to do over there on the other side of the state with Troop A. Long story short, I've been cleared, and they know it's not me. We're pretty sure we know who it was, and now it's a matter of the justice system, the wheels turning to bring them in and hold them accountable for what they did. Now, let me go back to last year. Some of you may have heard of Dumpster Bob. He has the YouTube channel Trumpster Bob. He was the first one to really kind of go out there and start a YouTube channel where he could make money off of my name. And what he does is he sits there and he talks trash and lies about me. He says things that are absolutely not true, that have no merit behind them, but he says them as if they are facts, as if he's reading from a script of actual facts about me. He slanders me 24/7. And this was getting annoying, although there's not much that can be done about it. I actually found out where he was living in Texas and went over there to pay him a visit, man to man. And of course, he didn't show up where he claimed he would be. And I went and talked to local law enforcement there and started a paper trail on this freak of nature, Santa Claus looking wannabe. Recently, he's kind of vanished. About 2 weeks now, he's been off the internet. So we don't know what happened to Trumpster Bob. I hope nothing bad came to be. I hope he lives a long life and is able to continue to trash me and other people he doesn't agree with. Let's move on. Then came this hillbilly crooked tooth meth head that goes by the YouTube channel Ducote. Look at this clown, this freak of nature, this Tide Pod eating keyboard warrior that has nothing to do but put together a YouTube channel to try and make money off of my name by critiquing everything I do and put out as if I'm a liar. And everything he puts out is far left-leaning liberal bullshit. Okay? Guy can't even comb his hair. Whoever his crackhead dealer is doesn't have a dental plan. You can see that by looking at him. Just an absolute disgusting piece of shit. Then came what I'd like to refer to as the Addams Family freak of nature that goes by the YouTube channel Unread Bat. Well, he appears to be a bat. He kind of looks like he's possessed by Satan, and he makes threatening videos about me daily. I'm talking like I'm going to kill you, and holding up knives and doing this and pictures and stabbing them. And I report all this to YouTube. And of course, it's funny that I get back from YouTube that they haven't found anything he's done to violate their community standards. So to YouTube, you need to find out who's reviewing this shit and knock them upside their freaking head or fire their ass. Because this freak of nature is putting out videos about killing people. Me, American Joe, other conservatives and Republicans, our president, and YouTube found nothing wrong. That's pretty damn screwed up. Then there's a guy by the name of Glenn Ray Hyder, Hyder. Oh, Glenn decided to go on my Facebook page for my nonprofit Veterans United for Justice and start sending threatening things, claiming to be from anonymous ops and how he's going to take me down. He's going to ruin me. Then he managed to get a hold of my phone and started leaving messages that way, started doing the same thing to my wife, threatening my wife. And, Glenn has always managed to keep himself hidden. On Facebook, for instance, you click on the message, click on his profile, there's nothing there. He can just come in and go out as he pleases to do the attack and then disappear. And all the messages he sends via phone, it's all undocumented and you have no idea who it is. It's all blocked. Except he just screwed the pooch and forgot to block himself today when he left this message.
Douglas Ducote. This is Ray Hyder, better known as Razor Tap on YouTube, and Glenn Razor Tap Hyder on Facebook. I'm a Democrat. You're progressive, Republican, conservative. I get that. You believe in the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of rights. I believe in that also. What I don't understand is why you keep blocking my comments on Facebook and YouTube. You believe in gun rights. I kind of do, but I prefer close quarter combat. Therefore, if you came to North Carolina, I would probably slit your throat. but that's okay. I'll see you soon in your chat group. I'm a member of Anonymous Pops. You can't miss me.
Yeah, another Antifa keyboard warrior that has nothing better to do but make threats, that forgot to mask himself today. Hell, I was able to go in the internet and not only do a reverse search on the phone number, but his name and his address. So pretty much he's fucked. The countdown started. Then there's what I'd like to call Mr. Happy Pants, who pretty much calls me every other day for the past 6 months and leaves the following type messages.
Doug, you fat cunt. You're about 3 steps away from a fucking heart attack, you fat prick. You're going to die soon from your heart attack because you're going to be so worked out. But don't worry, your wife will get finally the fucking she deserves. She gets 1 orgasm by Halloween, promise. Looking forward to reading your obituary soon, you fat fuck. I masturbate to your death, but not in a gay way. Have a nice day, cunts. I went to college, so I'm better than you.
Not in a gay way. I masturbate to your death. Folks, these are the type freaks that are voting on the Democrat ticket. These are the type people that support Bernie Sanders and Mr. Buttlick and Elizabeth Warren. And they hate Trump, and they hate you if you're a Republican or a conservative. Now, what do they all have in common besides the fact that their parents should have used a condom? Think about that for a moment. They were stupid enough to pick a fight with 2 U.S. Army combat veterans, myself and American Joe. I'm going to say that you don't bring a knife to a gunfight, and when you threaten these 2 old bastards, well, you better bring your A game, because we don't fight fair. We fight to win. We will do everything in our power to bring your ass down legally through the justice system and with law enforcement. And thankfully, because a few of you have screwed the pooch and forgot to mask yourself, the clock's ticking. Folks, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'll be bringing on my good brother, American Joe. Stay tuned. Hello, American patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code Doug for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
And we are back with my brother, American Joe. Joe, how are you?
What's up, brother, man? You got some crazy people after you, man. Razor tap. What is this? What is this, like the professional wrestling that takes place in one of those college gymnasiums or something? Razor tap. Get the hell out of here. Is that guy for real?
You, they want you too.
Hey, man, I'm going to quit shitting with you if you're going to keep bringing these psychopaths into my world, okay? I was perfectly fine until I started hanging out with Douglas Ducote, all right?
I think that's how it went down, too, was they started attacking me. They saw us working together and went, oh, let's go get that bitter bastard, too. So, I swear, man. It's other people's children. You can't take them anywhere.
Well, all joking aside, though, you started screwing with my family, and we're going to have real problems. And I'm glad you said that we were going to handle it legally. Yeah, that's the word we're going to use. That's the word. We're going to use that word. Legally, we're going to handle it, because where I live, if you come on my property, I will legally take you out. And there won't be any problems from the police at all. So, you got to quit screwing with people's families, man. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's I've laughed about it for the past year now. But then when they start talking about my wife and my kids and my dogs, look, I a lot of people stay fairly anonymous, and I get that and understand that 100%. I get that. I chose not to do so. I chose to be more public because I wanted to build a network that was going to maybe hopefully one day take the place of Fox News when they started going far left, which they're, by the way, starting to do. So I made myself very visible as far as who I am and what I'm about.
Is that why you shaved the head?
Yes. Typically, I have hair that comes down to here, and I actually did trim my beard up. You can go back and look at old pictures, John. You can see that my beard was prettier than yours. And in the future, it's going to be even prettier than yours. I've got products I'm buying to do this.
I was going to say, you must be on testosterone if you're going to get a bigger beard than mine. Okay.
Yeah. So, they start going after your family and other, type things. One of the things they started going after heavily in the beginning was my military service, and just absolutely blatantly making up lies. Everything from I never served to I was never served in combat till I was, I was discharged for horrible conduct. I mean, it was just unbelievably stupid shit. Okay, so one of the things that I had set to private on my Facebook, my personal Facebook wall, was I got a lot of pictures of all the different conflicts I've been in with the military because I love photography, and I actually have a little side photography business. So I've always taken pictures, and always had a camera at my side everywhere I've deployed to. And so there's 500 plus photographs of me serving in the military, doing different things, different operations, that was all set to private. And now it's open to the public for any one of these keyboard warriors that, wants to talk shit, can go there and look at it. I don't care. They can go there and look at it, and they can make screenshots of it and Photoshop, hair on my head and shit like they do. And that's fine. But the bottom line is I don't have anything to hide. And I hope that that the crazies that these people are, they realize that there comes a point where you step over a certain line, and we don't dial 911 when it comes to that. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, Joe. We take the protection of our family more personal than anything else on this earth, even over country and flag. Okay. And, it's a shame what they're doing, but I keep trying to say, and I'm preaching this as much as I possibly can. And the reason why this show was so important to me was to let people know, let them see, let them hear what these freaks are all about. And these are the same people that we are up against during this election. So, have you had anything happen to you via any of this stuff that I haven't heard about yet? Is there any is there a movie coming out maybe? Or the same type.
I certainly don't have 500 photographs of my service. Not that that's impressive. I mean, there's 500 photographs of the moon landing. We all know that never happened, right? So
that's Elvis is still alive too.
But, you know, I really don't care what people say about my military service. I really could give two craps less about anybody. And, you know, when we first met, you asked to see my DD Form 214 just because you had done some dealings with people that turned out to be who they weren't who they say they were. And so I showed you, and mostly because I wanted to suck off of your large audience and increase my audience, if I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't care. I don't care about these people. I don't care two craps about any of these people and their opinions. Now, I had some things happen early on, I think before we met. Crazy guys leaving really crazy voicemails, really weird voicemails. I had one guy call into my live show and say that he was on his way to assassinate President Trump. During my live show, he was on the road to assassinate President Trump, who was at a rally, and he said his location. He said where he was at, what highway he was traveling on, and he was on his way to assassinate President Trump. So I actually got on the phone with the Secret Service at that moment, and never heard back. But I had like a bunch of Capitol Police calling me over the next couple of days and getting more information. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much crazy out there, man.
Yeah, yeah.
And well, I do this show. Go ahead, buddy. Well, I was going to say I do this show because I get tired of sitting around watching my country go down the crap tubes and not speaking up about it, because I have a hard time sitting by and watching things happen and not speaking my mind. And I don't really care about any of the threats to me. You know, I want to say whatever I'm going to say. I do take great exception when you threaten my wife or anything like that. That's going to be a big problem. So
yeah. Well, I'm. Let me tell you this. I'm very honored and very blessed that you and I have connected, and that we have each other's six. And you know, we will be. You know, if something does happen to one of us, you know, I know that if something was to happen to you, for instance, I'm not going to come to your funeral because I'm going to be tracking down the bastard that did it and taking them out. And I know that you do the same thing in reverse for me. So they just don't have a clue. They have no clue the can of whoop ass that they are about to open if they keep this silly shit up. So with that, we're going to open up the phone lines. We have the numbers down at the bottom. You can call in. And I believe first off, we have, let's see, I think we have Gerald from Oakland, California.
I was hoping it was Razor Tap.
Gerald, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
Hey, Gerald, how are you? American Joe, yes.
I'm fine, and I think you got a great show. But I would like to put a kind of a plug, but it's not a plug really. It's in for it's a video called "The Founders and the Islam," and it goes all the way back to the beginning of when the United States was formed, and it's all history. I mean, it's all letters. It's all real, and people need to watch that, man. I don't know how to get it out there. I really don't, but it's done by Bible Truth. And it's really an amazing video. I mean, it tells all about Islam way back in 17 and 1800s. So that's what I called about. I mean, I agree with everything you said.
I'd like to see that if you would. If you would, send it to us at Douglas@DouglasDucote.com, the link to it, because I'd like to see it. I'm fixing to do something towards the middle of the year on just that subject. So thank you so much, sir.
You can Google it. You can Google it. Please, wait a minute. You can Google it. It's called "The Founders and Islam," and it's by Bible Truth. And it's only like a 30-minute video, and you've got all the papers on there, all letters from way back in 1800. I mean, I don't have a video. I mean, I wish I did. I hope I'd put it on the air. Pardon?
Okay. Thank you very much, Gerald. Appreciate it, brother. Be safe.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, can we move Razor Tap to the front of the line? Is he on the phones? Razor Tap? Is there a Razor Tap out there?
I don't think we have Razor Tap yet, but we are tracking Razor Tap with the new Santa app. We have Jamie on the phone, and I'm not sure where you're from, Jamie. Jamie, can you hear me? Hello, Jamie. You're on the Douglas Ducote Show. How are you? And maybe we don't have Jamie on the phone after all. Maybe Razor tapped in.
Well, Jamie is sitting there, but we have Victor calling from the great state of Texas.
All righty, Victor, hello. You're on with Douglas and American Joe.
Hey, hi.
These are good calls.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. How are you?
Oh, man, this is awesome, man. This is like my first time calling into a show like this. I appreciate you guys taking the time to take my call. I appreciate all the fight and effort that you guys are doing. And I support you 110%, fellas.
Well, thank you, sir.
Appreciate that, brother.
Well, I'm calling about what I saw today, what Joe Biden said. He said a comment about AK-47s will not help defend against missiles and shit like that. So to me, that's like a declaration of war against American patriots. And how can that guy get away with that shit?
I did not hear that. I was so busy doing other things and getting ready for the show. But he said that AK-47s will not defend against missiles.
Yeah, to that extent, yes, that's what he said. He was referring to that how can we defend ourselves against the government if the government is going to bomb us?
But maybe he meant measles and he was concerned about the coronavirus. That sounds like something Joe would say. Biden.
Yeah, but
this is a good question here.
To me, he's a complete idiot. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, of course he is. But here's the thing. You know, when the framers put this Constitution together, the militia had the exact same armaments that the military of the day had, the exact same thing. If you would have told them, hey, put down your muskets because that's what the military has, you're not allowed to have military-grade weapons, what are they going to do? Pick up a knife and go to a musket fight? So I'm one of those guys, you know, hey, if you're coming to my house and you've got a military uniform on with a weapon, then I should have access to the same exact weapons you do, period. Matter of fact, when I signed up and went into the service, I was 18 years old. Within a year, access to millions of dollars worth of weaponry that they entrusted me with. And guess what? I didn't go on a killing spree, killing innocent civilians with it.
Yep.
Right.
I
Exactly.
just don't get it.
Well, I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran just like you guys, and I'm retired right now. I did a little 5-year stint with DHS. And that's after the military. I got wounded in Iraq. And right now I'm just, hey, I got to protect my family. And I'm limited to what I can do. But I can surely shoot straight and shoot accurate. And if they want to come to my house and they want to do something with my family, I'm not going to let it happen. I was born in this country. I'm a proud American. And, I have a Hispanic heritage. I'm not going to let it happen. And it's about time that these nut jobs and all these liberals and these people, they need to get punched in the face. I'm not promoting violence. I'm a Christian, but they need that. People need to get punched in the face because
punch you in the face a few times. Man,
exactly. I swear, if I was allowed to speak to Congress, I would straight up stand up and say, you know what? I would like to line every one of you up and just punch you once in the face. It's not a threat. It's just, it's just a wish.
Definitely not a threat. Gotcha. Definitely not violence.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you very much for your service, brother. And hey, you be safe and hang on, okay?
Yeah, likewise, guys. Thank you guys for your fight.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
And next up is Gary Gates. Gary, you're on with Douglas and Joe. How are you?
Hello, brother. I just want to tell both of you gentlemen that y'all are fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being. It is such an honor. It is such an honor to be able to take and see you two personally on the television, or excuse me, on the YouTube, and see the dedication that you gentlemen have put forth. You make me proud, proud. I call you both my brothers. And thank you again so much for your support of being supportive of this nation. Thank you, my patriot brothers. I love you. You gentlemen have a wonderful day. And by the way, I'm just an old redneck from Oklahoma, and dirty deeds is done. I'll do them. Love you, gentlemen.
Amen. Amen, brother. Thank you. All righty. And next is Jeff from Florida. Jeff, you're on with Douglas and Joe. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, Doug. You know, that one caller was talking about what Biden had said. Well, I heard that too. But they also said they would bring out the F-15s on us, you know, so we wouldn't stand a chance. But what I like to say is, you know, that's pretty violent, what these people are doing to you. But the closer we get to this election, and when reality sinks in that Trump's going to win, there's going to be a hell of a lot of violence. And I mean, people are going to lose their lives, I think. It's going to be a violent election. That's my opinion of it.
Very concerned about that, Jeff. And trust me, it's something that a lot of us veterans and military veterans and veteran law enforcement officers are talking about in our little world on a constant basis on how we're going to participate in that if need be to back up our brothers and sisters in law enforcement. But I agree with you. You know, it's something that, you know, it could very well happen. And, you know, it's hopefully it doesn't, but we appreciate you and thank you.
I have a different
opinion. You know, just one other thing. One other thing, you know, I hear a lot of people, I watch a lot of news, a lot of people are saying there's a civil war coming.
Yeah. Yeah, we hear that all the time.
Well, I wanted to say on the first comment, that, you know, when Trump got elected in 2016, there was some violent outbursts, and it went on for a few weeks around the country here and there, little protests here and there. The left has been for 3.5 years now telling us how, you know, Trump's the worst president in the history of the world's going to fall, the world's going to end, it's the end of the country as we know it. And here we sit going into year 4, and great economy, everything's great. Everything is going really great. And I don't think people are prepared to riot in the streets after 4 years of success of this country. I don't really I mean, you have pockets of idiots out there that are going to always protest. They protest everything. They can protest anything. But the vast majority of people, I think they understand that we're doing really well as a country right now, even though they don't want to admit it. They still want to try to give Obama credit for the success of the Trump administration, which is outlandish, because if he was failing miserably at every level, they'd certainly be blaming him in a hot second.
Well, the city I live in, Northport, Florida, I got to tell you, this is predominantly Trump. There is Trump signs in everybody's yard here. So they don't want to come down here and mess around with these people, I'll tell you that.
I agree. I'm in Pensacola, Florida often on the northern part of the coast there, and love that area. Love that area. Thank you for calling in, and thank you for chatting with us. We appreciate it, Jeff. And next up is Rob from Michigan. Hello, Rob. You're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas and American Joe.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to thank you for your service and all that you do for this country. How I won't take long. I just want to know, well, there's actually certain YouTubers out there that encourage people not to vote. And this younger generation don't seem like, to them, more and more I talk to them, it seems like to them, they just say voting does not matter. What is your guys' position on that, and what would you tell them?
I would tell them that if voting doesn't matter to you, then neither does the sacrifices of the literally hundreds of thousands of men and women that have died since the inception of this country fighting for the freedoms and the rights that you have to vote. So if you don't think
I'm in agreement with you, sir.
Yeah. What about you, Joe? What do you think?
What do you think about people that think that the voting system's rigged? Like a lot of this younger generation I talk to think that's all just rigged, that there's already a ruler in place. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that's just nonsense. It's just another way to vote. Listen, if we don't vote, if you sit home and vote because you think it's rigged, because you think you don't like Trump for any number of reasons you don't like Trump, then I say get the hell out of get the hell away from me. Get out of my party and go join the Democrats, because you sitting home is just like voting for a Democrat. And if you're voting for a Democrat, then that tells me you're voting for the destruction of our country, and I don't want to have anything to do with you. So put all your pettiness aside. If
I'm
you're
in agreement with you, bud.
Anti-Trumper because they don't like this, they don't like that, they don't like the way he talks, whatever he says, then get out of the party and go have a seat on the sidelines. We don't need you. But if you're going to continue to be a part of this movement, then get out to vote, man. We need every single person to vote.
Amen.
You guys see what I'm seeing with the younger generation, though? How they just don't care about voting?
Yeah, and that's actually
I think that's a big issue in our country.
People are liberals because they're coming out of these indoctrination camps we call colleges. So good. Exactly. I hope the vast majority of them stay home. That would be good. That'd be good news.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch.
All right. Thank you guys again for your service, and thanks.
Thank you. And next up is Mary from Pennsylvania. Mary, you're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas and Joe. How are you?
I'm fine, Doug. How are you?
Doing great.
When I heard your story tonight, I was just crushed about what's happening to you and your family. And I just wanted to say, I'm listening because I like to listen to both the Republicans and Democrats. I'm a Republican, but I like to keep up on the Democrats' plans. And I noticed that in all the interviews, and people do ask them about Antifa and the violence that's going on, and not one of them has condemned the violence that's going on during these, groups getting together and protesting. And I just think that's a disgrace that the Democratic presidential candidates won't even condemn that. It's very upsetting because what I'm seeing is an awful lot of violence on the left. And now, after I heard what happened to you, I am just devastated because I just think it's such a disgrace. Well, and I just wanted to say that I really love watching you, and I watch you all the time. And Joe, I'll watch you too now. But thank you so much for what you do for all of us folks out here who really need to hear the information that you share.
Thank you very, very much, Mary. We appreciate it. And you're right. The left, the only freedom of speech they want is their freedom of speech. They do not want to hear what a conservative or Republican has to say. And sadly, the left runs social media. A lot of people don't know that I was banned for life on Twitter for something that no way in hell should I have been banned for life for that. And then have been on numerous different timeouts with Facebook just for sharing the truth and talking about the truth, not making up things, not attacking people, just sharing the truth or joking around. I have a sense of humor that's pretty sick sometimes, but we had to come up with that as veterans to survive in some of the things we did. So, but anyhow, thank you very much, Mary. Is it snowing up in Pennsylvania?
So much, oh, no. We have very much going to have a spring that comes early. It's just rain.
Very good. Very good. I love it up there. It's beautiful country. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate it.
Yes, it is.
Don't forget the left does condemn the violence every day. They just attribute it to Donald Trump. So he's the reason why everybody's violent.
Yep. All righty. Next up is Alex from North Carolina. Alex, you're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas and American Joe.
We're actually skipping Alex and going to Doug from California.
All righty, Doug, you're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas American Joe. How are you?
Good. Good evening, Patriots. Regarding sanctuary status and self-defense in California, a year ago, my son was coming out of a restaurant in downtown LA with his girlfriend. As they were walking by a homeless man sitting down on the street who was starting to get up. As they passed, my son moved off to the right just to intercept a swinging arm with a knife that caught him in the forehead and split his head open. My son is a bodybuilder. He pinned the guy to the ground, waiting for the police to arrive. The man was released the following day. My son had to take care of the expenses himself. And here's the response I got from my son a year later, who is a millennial. Dear so-and-so, thank you for your responding to my letter. I view this case as very serious. I was so unwilling to settle the case for anything less than a state prison commitment. The judge agreed that the case was serious, but considered the defendant's lack of criminal record and placed him in a formal probation with a suspended state prison sentence of 4 years. That means if he violates probation, he will go to prison for 4 years. Also considered by the judge was a psychiatric evaluation that concluded the defendant suffered a psychotic episode in combination with drug addiction. There is a restitution hearing you can meet if you'd like to get reimbursed. End of letter. I am so sorry that you had to experience such a terrible attack. For the next 3 years, I will be monitoring the defendant on probation. If he fails to fulfill his obligations, including a 1-year residential rehab program, I will demand the court send him to state prison. If you have any questions or need additional information, please call or email us. So, I think our status as self-defense is even weak in a sanctuary state, and I'm not sure how to respond to that. What do you gentlemen think?
Well, thankfully, it appears that AG Barr is going to go after the sanctuary cities with a vengeance, and it appears that's going to be happening in the very, very near future from comments he's made recently. So,
ironically, we got this letter yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
Well, he's a strong boy. Unfortunately, he's forgiving of the.
Yeah, we can vote these people out of office. You know, I mean, start a grassroots movement over there in California and do everything in your power, you know, to be a part of that, to vote these liberal Democrats out of office. I lived out in California for many years, and I'm disgusted now to see what's happened to that state. And there's still a lot of good people.
68 years.
Gotcha.
I've lived here 68 years, and I'm not leaving. I'm taking a stand. And I guess I may go down alone because my family doesn't understand.
What part of California are you in?
I'm in Santa Barbara County area.
Okay.
North of Los Angeles. By the way, in the old Studio City area on the other side of Hollywood, kind of a upscale neighborhood, Studio City in that area. About a few years ago, it was pretty nice. You could drive around, no homeless, nothing. Now, every underpass, Laurel Canyon, Coldwater Canyon, all the big, rich Encino areas all have homeless encampments. People are kind of getting upset, but don't really seem to mind.
Yeah.
So it's coming over. It's moving out. And
things are changing. That's the good part of it. And as we, if Trump gets reelected, and let's pray he does, then I do believe we will see major changes in the state of California, as well as other states that are have been hijacked by these far left liberals. Well, thank you so much for your call, brother. We appreciate it.
I put my name in to meet Mr. Trump in Beverly Hills. I hope they pick my name. It's the 18th of this month, Beverly Hills. Hope I get to meet him.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Have a great evening.
All right, Doug, we're going to go to Alex from North Carolina. He was waiting and got disconnected, but he's back on. And then I'm going to show you guys a graphic real quick since voting came up that I made the other day for somebody. So let's go to Alex first.
All right, Alex, you're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas and American Joe. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I appreciate you guys' service. Fellow 11 Bravo here. I'm in North Carolina. Cool. I figured I'd tell you I'll put my throat where that dude wants us to slit it, and we'll see what happens.
Well, you know what? And with you 11 Bravos, I love you guys. I was a Chinook flight engineer. We hauled y'all all over the place. And I was so blessed to be able to lower the ramp and let y'all go do your thing while we went back and drank coffee and then come pick you up when you're done. You guys rock.
Those ramp jumps
sure
were awesome.
Appreciate it.
Those ramp jumps were awesome. That was a 6-second drop. Felt like you were up there forever. It was great.
Yeah.
I like the Black Hawk jumps too. But as far as those threats going on, man, like some of those people are crazy. Like they really are. Like I got an uncle. He's a cop in Charlotte. And when the riots were going on, some of us veterans did go and back them up. Now, it was frowned upon by the general public because they don't like it when veterans start knocking out Antifa people. So
right.
We're here. We're just a silent group of people.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. There needs to be more people like us, more American patriots, and places like Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon, to stand up to these bastards.
Yeah, when they actually came across veterans that they were spitting on and all that kind of stuff like that, it turned pretty ugly pretty fast, and about as far as I'm going to get into that. But
yeah.
So,
well, thanks for your service, brother.
I appreciate what you do, man. Like, I appreciate both of y'all, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. You too, brother. Thank you for your service. All right. Now we're out of line as to who we had. So who's next?
Yeah, hold on. We've got a number of people, but let me just put this up here real quick for the audience and you guys, because I made this actually for Chrissy Piccolo the other day, our one of our assistant producers, while she was asking me all these questions, and I said, if you want to see the votes and you want to understand why we're in so much trouble, so I'm going to put this up on here, and the people that don't think they have a voice and people who don't vote because they think that it's rigged, you need to actually look at these numbers right here. Hold on, let me put it up. Okay, so you're going to see in the middle the 2016 by the numbers. Voting age in 2016 was 250 million in the United States. Voted 139 million. So only 56% of voting age people voted in the presidential election. Now, how many of those are young people? I don't know. I didn't break the numbers down. But let's look at some of these other by the numbers. So percentage that voted in 2012, which was the Obama presidential election against Mitt Romney, was only 55%. In the midterm election, percentage that voted in 2014, that was the Obama midterm, was only 34%. And then the percentage voted in 2018, that was the last midterm, was actually very high compared to modern history, was 50%. Now, if you look in the left-hand column on the other voter stats, you've got registered in 2012, was only 76% of voting age people actually registered. So 24% has automatically taken themselves out of the game. And then registered as of 2019, 31% Dem, 29% Rep, 38% Independent. Many Republicans over the years have switched to Independent, especially during the Tea Party movement, to basically protest against Republican. The registered part doesn't matter that much. But the issue, and I was talking to Professor Nick Giordano the other day, who is a regular, Doug's been on his show, he's been on Doug's show, that on local elections, nationwide, local elections, it's between 10 and 20% vote. And local elections are so important because they're the least partisan of all. Most people can come together over potholes and things like that, and where you can actually take control of your town, your county, and your state that way. I mean, you could take over the school boards, the zoning boards, the local town councils, the police commissions. So, you know, when you take yourself out of the game, the numbers don't lie. There's 50% of the country that isn't even voting. Some of them we probably don't want to, but a lot of them are probably the ones that Joe addressed with the caller, is that we are giving up our right to vote. So you can't sit here and say it's all rigged. There may be rigging on some levels, but on the local level, a lot of it is because we aren't getting off our asses and voting. And secondly, and most importantly, we're waiting for people to hold up their hand to run instead of us going out and recruiting people to run and saying, hey, will you sacrifice like our founders did and go serve 2 years in Washington? You know, and that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to say something real quick on that, Dustin. A lot of people on the left, you're going to hear them rallying against the Electoral College, and the reason they do that is because they understand that if you give what they try to put out there as a popular vote, and in their way they talk about a popular vote, it's kind of magical. Everybody in America that's eligible gets a vote, and then the most popular vote wins, and that's the end of it. Well, that's not the end of it, because like you said, only half the country is voting as it is, and then when you go to the largest metropolitan cities in the country, they are overwhelmingly Democratic in their voter in their registered voters compared to Republican voters. We're talking margins of 76% to 26%. And what that does is you can spend all of your advertising budget in 4 cities or 5 cities, and you can reach more people than if you were to spend advertising money in 48 other states. So it's really a no-brainer. I mean, the Electoral College has been in place for a reason for a very long time, and they only cry about it when they lose to Trump. That's when. Well,
look, 100%. I just want to say, I was just talking to Dr. Stephen Camerata with Center for Immigration Studies. He's been at this for 25 years. He crunches all the numbers on immigration because I've been getting him ready to come on as a guest on Doug's show. But one of the things he taught me is out of the 330 million that we have, according to the census's population, in that number is included what Center for Immigration Studies believes is roughly 12 million illegal aliens. They're counted in that number, as are non-citizen legal immigrants that are here on work visas that don't have the right to vote, but they're counted in the 330 million. So what happens is the census, even though the big one is every 10 years, they're conducting studies every year, and those are used to allot the congressional districts, which also allots the Electoral College votes. So bringing in people and counting them in the census that, one, are here illegally and two, don't have a right to vote is insanity, considering that the Pew Research shows that 73% foreign-born vote Democrat, and then foreign-born overall between first generation, their children, grandchildren vote 2 to 1 Democrat. You know, that's a dangerous game that we're playing here, which is why President Trump tried to move to have, immigration status put onto the census. But it's a big problem. Do you want to take the last 4 calls in here, Doug, and then call it?
Yeah, let's hurry up, try and get those last 4 in, and then because we're way over schedule, but since they've been waiting, I'd like to go ahead and bring them on and see what they have to say. So who's next?
All right, so we got David Fetter calling from Illinois.
David, you're
on
with
with Doug.
Douglas.
Hi, American Joe. I don't know if you remember me, Doug, but I was on your show here a while back on Title 18 USC Section 242, the plan that I had to fight back against the Democrats, and I kind of had a new development. A friend of mine, he's more of an acquaintance, put a bug in a Republican's ear. I asked him to see if we could have him support the program that I've put together, and his response that got back to me was, better be prepared for the Democrats to come back with some repercussions, and you may end up on a list that you don't want to be on. And I thought, oh boy. So instead of getting the backing like I did from Senator Amanda Chase of Virginia, I got a shut me up kind of deal. So I don't know. I must be doing the right thing if they're giving me that kind of a response.
Yeah, I agree. You are doing the right thing, and that's what I keep having to tell myself. You know, me and Joe are doing the right thing when these people start attacking us the way they do. So,
well, I'll tell you what. I watch just about everything you guys come out with. I really like both of your shows. Question for Joe: did you blow that new radio up yet?
I was going to say, this is who keeps sending me ham radio advice, right? No, I haven't blown it up yet.
I don't know so much as advice, but it is information.
Information. Nope, it's still functional. I haven't blown it up yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I know you're running over time, so I'll get off of here. But I thought I'd tell you about my little experience here, and I hope you guys support me and try to keep things going. As I understand it, Doug, you were going to come out with a PDF or something with all the stuff on there. Have you done that?
we've got a bunch of things we're working on, and we just don't have the time right now to get it out, because every time we want to put something that we're working on out, some kind of breaking news happens, which has to direct us in another area. So the concentration at the moment is to try and get this border documentary finished and get back out there. But we're working on it all, brother. We're trying to get everything done, but there's just not enough time.
Well, if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know. This thing, this is really important because it's not just about our Second Amendment rights, but it's about all of our rights. So, and we have to do it en masse. Just a few people won't cut it. But anyway, guys, have a good evening, and I'll get off of here and keep up the good work, both of you.
Thank you. You too, brother. And who do we have next, Dustin?
Next up, we have Buddy from Mississippi.
Buddy, you're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas and American Joe. How are you?
What's going on, man?
We're hanging in there, man. Yeah, how's Mississippi doing right now?
It's doing good. I've never done anything like this before, but I watch your YouTube stuff all the time. And I sit here most of the time and drink a 16-ounce Miller Lite while I'm watching it. And I love pretty much everything you and American Joe do.
Thank you, brother.
I got a question for both of y'all.
Sure.
Every time I watch your video, you have a gun laying there on the table. What is that? That revolver, I believe it is.
This would be a Smith & Wesson 357.
Okay, it's what model is it?
This is a this one here is I don't have my glasses on to see it up close. It's old. I got this in like 1977, I believe. I just know it shoots straights and it's really, really nice. And then the other one is Caltech 9mm, which is just a joy to have. Very good conceal weapon as well.
Yeah. And then American Joe has got a Walther that I'm curious about, because I just got a Walther about 6 months ago.
Yeah, Walter Creed. It's not back behind me right here, but it's a Walter Creed. It's a very good weapon, and it only retails right now for about $300. You can get one right now, but they're discontinued, so they're not going to make them anymore.
Well, it may be the same one that I've traded for. I've got a 9mm Walther, and it says Smith & Wesson on it, and it says P99. It says Walther and Smith & Wesson on it.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. I traded a Glock for it.
Yeah, that's very strange.
But the main thing, I just want to let y'all know that I appreciate everything that y'all have done. And Douglas, I'm telling you, you're brave as hell to go up in that damn cave with them chain link fences and shit. I watched all that stuff, and that's just mainly what I wanted to say. And I appreciate the hell out of both of y'all.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thanks,
we
buddy.
appreciate it. Go eat some crawfish down there in Mississippi. We're doing that in Louisiana, and they're really good right now.
Yeah, and I guess I'll get off here and let y'all go on about your business. And I appreciate y'all.
All right, same here, brother.
Thank y'all.
All right, man.
All right.
All right, next
All right,
up.
thank y'all.
Thank you. Next up, we have, I believe it's Nicely from Virginia, unless it's supposed to be Nikki.
And you're on with Douglas and American Joe. How are you?
All right, and it's Kenneth Nicely.
All right, how are
What's
you,
up,
brother?
Kenneth?
What can I help you with?
All right. Well, first I'd like to thank Joe there for the prayers he said for my mother. I can't even tell you how much I'd appreciate it. Doug, I'm just, recently getting to know you a little more, and Meeting Joe for the first time, immediately I, thought of the song Simple Man from Charlie Daniels. He just had that, type of attitude about him, but, which I like. But, I mean, the thing that gets me mad is all the talk about Civil War, coming and seeing all these people scared. But the thing that gets me is they are more concerned about their lives than just sitting back thinking about, standing up for your children and your children's children. But, today I just found out that Virginia just passed the HB 961 here, which is really, stirring the pot. I just like to, get y'all's opinion on that.
Yeah,
Virginia, that's the is that the AR ban? The assault weapons ban?
That is. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Magazine
where they had all
ban,
the civilians. They forced all the civilian protesters out of the courtroom or out of the building when they did it. Yeah, I mean, this is what happens when we don't stand up. When it comes time to stand up, see what happens. You give the Democrats just an ounce of power, see what they will do. You see what they will do, So
yeah,
we told Virginia this was coming, man, and it's there. It's there.
Yeah, I voted last year for Republican, and this year I'm doing the same thing. So I just, I'd like to get the word out. Start voting for Republicans, because clearly Democrats are not doing anything to help the American people whatsoever.
Yeah, we agree 100%, brother. Thank you for your call, man. We appreciate it.
I appreciate what y'all doing, and I'm not going to take any more of y'all's time up. So
thanks for the book, by the way. I'm going to be reading Kenneth's book. He sent me a book and about his life, and I'm just going to start reading it. I just got it like yesterday. But thanks for that, brother. I'll take a look at it. I'll let you know what I think of it.
All right, so there's 3 callers in the queue. 2 of them, I'm just going to read their comment, and then we'll go to the last one. It might be combative and fun. So Elena from Massachusetts, she said she wanted to tell Doug she's really impressed with you and congratulate you on this show and expanding and everything. And then we've got Martin from Middleburg, Florida, who was going to ask Doug about the show 2 weeks ago with the gentleman who wrote the letter to President Trump. Who was just on. That was David from Illinois. So we will follow back up with that. And then we've got Will Collins from Oklahoma, who I'll bring on. He's curious why you're pulling his comments. He said that several of his comments have been getting pulled, and he's another Patriot guy. So either one, I'll venture to guess, YouTube pulls a lot of comments, and sometimes the mods, if the chat is real crazy, can't catch up and approve them. If not, sometimes the mods take them off if you're a troll and they know you're a troll. So let's find out. Will from Oklahoma.
Hello, Will. Douglas Ducote here. You're on with Doug and American Joe.
Well, howdy, guy. I follow Joe, Patriot Hour, Straw PQ, and I've been up and down a few streets my own self. So I am no troll. As to how you guys are getting hacked, I have a feeling somewhere you've slipped up and left some personal information, and they followed that back and backtracked you.
Yeah, we figured out how they did it. We fixed that problem.
Well, you ought to be able to follow them home now.
We are.
If you can find somebody that knows how to do it.
Yeah, we are following them home. Trust me. There are people, as I speak,
well, I'm in agreement.
Involved trying to.
It's my first time meeting you there, Joe.
Well, nice meeting you, my friend.
Pardon?
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, guys. Hang in there, brother.
All right.
Later.
Same to you.
Later.
All right. And then just to the last one that just called, just so you know, just to be nice, we don't want to leave you hanging. But, yeah, we had wrapped up calls. It was Alan from North Carolina who wanted to talk about voter registration. So Alan, why don't you shoot us an email at Dustin or Douglas at douglasducote.com, and I'll send you an invite through here to call in first on the next show on Thursday.
Excellent, excellent. All righty, so I'm going to close out my show here in a few minutes after this quick break, but I want to take a moment to thank American Joe for coming on with us tonight. Brother, we appreciate it so much. Hey, man, we got to stand up for each other. We got to stand up for America. We got to stand up for our flag, and we have to do everything we can in our power to continue to put the message out there. The conservative message, the Republican message, just the common sense message. And I tell all of my people, everybody that subscribes to me, please go over to American Joe, sign up for his YouTube channel. Go to AmericanJoe.com as well. Joe, thank you so much, brother. I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show tonight.
Well, I appreciate that, Doug. And I want to say, Dustin hit the nail on the head yesterday on our panel discussion we had, that we are losing our connection with God in this country. That is the primary source of all of our problems. We are becoming a godless nation. And we're very lucky that God hasn't rendered judgment on the United States of America. He's kind of holding his hand back right now. And I just want everybody out there, if you're a Christian and you're a patriot, maybe you've walked away from Jesus, maybe you've stepped away from your Bible, I don't know, but draw closer to God. We need prayer warriors. We need Christians standing up and being strong, and we need patriots.
Amen. Amen, brother. Appreciate that. All right, folks, we'll be right back after this quick break. Support our movement. Join our cause. Stop by the Douglas Ducote Patriot Shop to get your official Team Ducote apparel and gear. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. All righty, and we are back to close out tonight's show. Again, I'd like to thank my guest, American Joe, for being a part of tonight's program. Thanks to all those that called in. For those that we weren't able to get to you, we're very sorry. Hopefully next time we will. We will be we will try and take calls at each one of the Douglas Ducote shows on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Please go over to American Joe's YouTube channel and sign up. If you haven't heard about it, on Monday nights now we're doing a Patriot panel. And we're going to rotate that out, and I will be putting out information about that, as well as American Joe and the other people that are part of this. So stay tuned to that, and please tune in for it also on Mondays. Tonight's show was to just share with you, basically, what conservatives and Republicans that are putting the word out there, spreading the truth, showing you facts, what we're up against, and just how hateful those on the left are. We showed it to you, and we let you listen to it. And that it doesn't even scratch the surface of the literally thousands of hate mail and text and voicemail that I receive all the time. Those on the left, well, I guess the best way of putting it is it's something like Satan. It's that freaking evil. But the good thing is, most of them that we showed you tonight are nothing more than a keyboard warrior that couldn't beat their ass out of a paper bag that had water poured on it. They have nothing better to do with their pathetic lives but to sit there and trash good American patriots. So the positive side of this is our message is working. When they have nothing better to do than to put up fake YouTube channels and fake Twitter accounts to come after people like me and American Joe, then we're winning. We're winning this war against those freaks of nature. I also want to take a moment to say that although in the beginning of this program, I told you a little bit about Louisiana law enforcement and how things could have went different in the situation with me, I do want to say this much. The men and women that are out on the streets doing the job are wonderful American patriots in law enforcement all across this country, even right here in Louisiana. It's the leadership that scares the shit out of me, and should you. And not everywhere. For instance, the sheriffs of the different counties across the nation and in Louisiana parishes, they are elected officials. They answer to the people. But yet, in the cities, those police chiefs are what? They're appointed by the mayor. And if the mayor happens to be a Democrat, you can bet your ass that mayor is going to have somebody appointed the police chief that's going to believe the way they do, because those mayors run those cities. And you need look no further than all the cities across America that have horrible crime problems like Baton Rouge and New Orleans, to name two here in Louisiana, that are going to hell in a handbasket, are run by who? Democrats. Chicago, Philadelphia, Oakland, Ferguson, Missouri. You'd look across the country where there's black on black crime, where there's horrible things happening, and you will find one thing they have in common. Democrats are running them and turning them into nothing but a shithole plot of earth. But I want to plug a book real quick. And I want to share with you by doing so, because this kind of fits in to the opening of this show, about how law enforcement in the Deep South can just get a little stupid. The name of the book is called Murder in the Bayou. It's a true book. It's by Ethan Brown. And it is titled, Who Killed the Women Known as the Jefferson Davis 8? It's 8 young women that were murdered in their youth. And the story behind law enforcement that was involved in trying to bring justice for these 8 women's family, and how crooked, absolutely crooked and disgusting some of these police leadership were in the Deep South. And this actually happened not far from where I'm sitting right now. And sadly, that happens a lot across the Deep South. There are people, just like in any other business, that are in it for the wrong reasons and become corrupt. It doesn't matter if it's the FBI, like we have seen happening up in Washington, D.C. with the leadership there, that was just out to railroad our president and go after only Republicans and let Democrats like Hillary Clinton, who committed known criminal felonies, walk free. Well, the brave men and women that actually do the work in the FBI, my hats are off to them. And I hope that you will keep pressing forward and keep your head up and realize that under President Trump, he's weeding out those bad apples. Sadly, across our nation, there's been a lot of bad apples that have infiltrated our law enforcement, but they've also infiltrated our Veterans Affairs, our Social Security, hell, our DMV, you name it. if it's got something to do with our government, liberal Democrats have managed to screw it the hell up. And that's sad. But overall, the men and women in law enforcement in America are great American patriots that are there to help, support, and protect and to serve their communities. I recently said a lot about what's happening up in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, Washington. When you watch it happen on your TVs, Antifa beating the shit out of people on the street that are innocent bystanders, and law enforcement standing there watching it. Folks, they were ordered to stand there and watch it by their police chief, who answers to their mayor, who's a Democrat, liberal freak, who basically said either you make them stand down or go find another job, because he's a Democrat, liberal freak. He made his men and women in law enforcement stand down. And that happens in a lot of Democrat-run states in America. Hopefully, if Donald Trump is reelected, he can continue making law enforcement great. We can weed out those that are in leadership positions, even in the United States military and the National Guard, that are corrupt and shouldn't be there. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. We hope to continue to bring you the truth and facts every Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. Please tune in to the Douglas Ducote Show. If you're new here, please subscribe, ring the little bell, and please go over to douglasducote.com, where you will be able to sign up for your email address. And in the event that YouTube removes me, and I do believe they will in the very near future as we get closer to the election, you'll still be able to follow me and see my videos and see the show. And also at Facebook, I have the page American Patriot by the Grace of God and the Douglas Ducote Show on Facebook as well. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our Blue and Gold Star families, our Angel families, our president, and our country. I can't thank you enough for being here tonight. I'm blessed and I'm honored to have so many people supporting what I do. Thank you from me and Team Ducote for being a part of what we are doing for you, the American Patriot. God bless you, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, and blessed evening.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially